Here we go. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for NARI Metro DC's Educational Networking Happy Hour. We are excited today to have our good friends and flagship sponsors from Ferguson with us today. They're going to be doing a presentation, you see it now on your screen, on consumer style trends. And I'm excited to see some things that are changing, and I'm curious to see what changes might be COVID inspired. But I do want to take a moment to thank both of our flagship sponsors for continued partnerships with us. T.W. Perry and Ferguson have supported us annually for years. We also have Ed Messick on with Barron's Lumber, and they are an annual sponsor as well. Just so you know, we have a lot of things happening. Our website, we have a new website launching, and our Cody Awards are launching next Wednesday. Michael Sari and Michael Wynn with TriVista and Wynn Design Build will be hosting a Cody how-to webinar, and they will be sharing all sorts of great pointers for you to create a winning Cody entry, as well as helping you understand what are some under-entered categories that we have both locally and nationally. So they've taken a good look at statistics from the past few years, and that will be a really great presentation. So we hope you'll join us for that. As always, we will be recording that. So if you can't be with us at 4 o'clock next Wednesday, we'll have a recording for you. All right. So Pooja, Pooja is on with us today, and Hannah from Ferguson. I'm just going to turn it over to you, Pooja and Hannah, to introduce yourselves to everybody, and then we'll get started.
Sure. Thank you, Angela. So I'm Pooja Gupta. I know most of you on the call. Really appreciate your time today. And Hannah's just going to talk to us about, as Angela had mentioned, the trends and what we're doing in the Ferguson showrooms. So I'd like to introduce Hannah Sweeney.
All right, so I had some technical difficulties getting in here today. My Wi-Fi went out, so I'm on my phone able to join with you guys, but Pooja's gonna kind of drive the presentation for me. My name is Hannah Sweeney. I am our category sales specialist for Ferguson. I help cover a lot of our brands like Signature Hardware, James Martin, Park Harbor Lighting, Millennium Lighting, some of our under-counter appliance brands like Landmark, Avalon, and EdgeStar. So today I kind of really just wanted to focus on Signature Hardware and some trends that we're seeing coming and some that are currently going on and kind of how they all blend together. Before we start, Pooja, did you want to start?
Sure.
Matter point first. So we wanted to kind of talk a little bit about how we're handling consultations in the showrooms. As of May, our showrooms did reopen. We are kind of encouraging appointments, but we are helping as many customers that walk in as possible. But we do really heavily suggest still trying to schedule an appointment in advance. We did come up with some tools that make it really cool for our customers that still want to have more of a virtual experience, maybe don't want to come in for second or third appointments, or maybe they want to have a virtual appointment first to kind of get some ideas. So this right here that we're showing on the screen is the Chicago showroom. And you're able to kind of navigate the showroom and get close to different items in the showroom and click on them to kind of find out more details and price points, which is kind of a cool feature. It pulls up more information on the items, and it kind of gives you that feel of being in our showrooms. We are in the process of doing this in a lot more local showrooms. So in the next month, we're going to have some photographers in to kind of photograph the local showrooms in the DC area so that you'll actually kind of feel like you're working in one of the showrooms that you're used to going to. So Pooja's kind of navigating and showing you how this works, but this one's the Chicago showroom. We'll have local ones here soon as well. But that's just kind of how virtually we can work with the customer. Obviously using Teams or Zoom or whatever other tools we need to kind of take care of the customer from afar. But if you are scheduling an in-person appointment, some things that we are doing in the showrooms, we are requiring masks, but we do have plenty of masks on hand as well as gloves for anybody that wants to wear gloves. And we do have acrylic face shields that kind of separate the consultant from the consumer that sit on the desk to just have an extra barrier of protection. So that's kind of how we're handling in-store appointments as well as virtual appointments. We are happy to welcome you all back to the showrooms as soon as you can, but just know that we do have virtual capabilities as well. So that's really all we wanted to show you on that. We'll jump back into the presentation. All right, so let's talk a little bit about trends. You want to go on to the next slide. So how Signature Hardware really kind of determines trends. They do a lot of Google Analytics to look up exactly what consumers are searching. They mix this with a lot of influencer design. So we really look at what some social media influencers are pushing to kind of figure out, you know, what trend is coming. And then we also do a lot with social conversations with people in the industry, talking to our builder partners, our designer partners about, you know, what trends they're seeing, and kind of mixing those three elements to kind of figure out a forecast for what trends are to come. So you first kind of will see these trends being adopted in fashion. And then from fashion, it really kind of translates into the home accents. And then from there, you'll see it more within lighting before it really gets even to furniture and appliances. And then finally to plumbing. So plumbing is really kind of one of the last places in the home that you see some of the trends being adopted. An example here with mid-century modern, it's been around for quite a few years, but you really haven't seen too much mid-century modern in the plumbing world yet, but you're starting to see some vanities being released, and I'm going to show you some examples. But you've seen mid-century modern in a lot of other elements in the home, like furniture. It's been around in lighting for a while, as well as home accents. So what's next? What is the next upcoming trend? So the first one I wanted to kind of talk to you about was organic modern. So what's organic modern? It's a term that refers to creating harmony between man-made products and nature. It really naturally conforms to human shapes in a way that doesn't feel contrived, mechanical, or artificial. It's a holistic connection with the earth's elements. It's a blended look composed of multiple styles. So within organic modern, you're going to find a lot of minimalism, modern farmhouse styles, Scandinavian, mid-century modern, and natural homes that all kind of blends together to really form this organic modern style. So here I'm showing kind of the search history of this trend. So really it's been kind of up and down. This is showing from 2014 until today. So organic modern has kind of been consistent throughout the last couple years, where we really have been monitoring some Instagram tags. As you can see there, organic modern just in the past, between December and May, increased over 33% in Instagram posts, as well as natural home. People were tagging natural home 23% more. So we're really seeing kind of those organic, natural trends really starting to come alive. So within organic modern, you're going to see a lot of neutrals. You're going to see a lot of warm browns, tans, off-whites, light blues. It's going to be really kind of heavy in black accents, whites, and natural wood tones. So for example, you see there that natural wood tone vanity, but then you see some heavier elements of black brought in with the lighting or the faucets. Textures and materials that you'll really see here are going to be more natural in the way that they look and feel. So a lot of plants and implied botanicals. You'll see a lot of rattan, and you'll hear me say rattan quite a bit in this trends presentation. Wicker and rattan are really increasing in popularity. wood, linen, grasses, leather materials. So we're seeing a lot of leather being brought in through lighting, and also kind of in the cabinet hardware world. Stone, silks, wools. In terms of shapes, it's going to be a lot more free-flowing forms, asymmetrical forms with more rounded corners. And in furniture, you're going to see this kind of more primarily made of wood with visible wood grains, very clean lines in furniture and functional design. So the next trend that we're really seeing coming is going to be vibrant eclecticism. So this is a harmony with self-expression. Here you're going to find a lot of varying textures, colors, and materials that are coming together to create a very cohesive space that's unique to the individual. Like organic modern styles, vibrant eclecticism is really a blended look of composed of multiple styles. Natural home and mid-century modern styles are really kind of a commonality between the two. And here you're going to find a lot of Art Nouveau, Art Deco, mid-century modern, boho and bungalow, boho and jungalow, and natural home kind of all are put into a bucket to kind of form vibrant eclecticism, where it's just very unique to the individual that is creating it. So here, this first graph is really showing the Google results for searching for boho decor. As you can see, between 2014 and 2019, it really kind of slowly increased. It didn't increase by much, but as of the past 6 months, we really saw a huge spike in the Google searches of boho decor. When looking at Instagram history, eclectic decor, jungalow, and jungalow style, they had so many posts between December and May of 2020. There was a pretty drastic jump in posts. If you're like me, you might not have heard of the term jungalow, but this was actually coined by combining the word jungle and bungalow. It's a design style that celebrates color and patterns and plants, and it's really been soaring in popularity over the past year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so some colors that you'll really find within this style are going to be really more combined and layered. You're going to find a lot of color and that's layered in a room. It'll tend to be more on the warm tone spectrum that's a little bit more earthy, and you'll find a lot of jewel tones. Textures that are really popular here are going to be more natural basic materials that are intermingled with glam accents. A lot of woven wicker, rattan, imperfect metals, and raw woods. Some patterns and shapes that you'll find here are going to be more mixed with botanical influences, direct or implied mid-century modern influences with some bohemian and Art Deco and Art Nouveau shapes. Furniture in these spaces, really kind of anything goes. Often it will probably have the look of being more secondhand or vintage. Very comfortable and relaxed, and each piece should really be special and tell a story about the furniture and the individual. So how do these two big trends, like how can we dissect those and look at kind of what elements they're made of and what trends they're kind of combining? So let's first look at mid-century modern. This has really been around for a couple years. What's new about it is that it's starting to be, it's just how it's starting to be used by our consumer. It's the base ingredient and eclecticism. So here you're going to find a lot of mixing and matching of classic mid-century modern design elements and styles that could be on the opposite side of the spectrum. This is done through eclectic personalization or within an individual product design. So you'll find with mid-century modern elements, people mixing a lot of rustic or cottage styles, farmhouse and glam styles as well. So really a mid-century modern house isn't really considered a house from the middle of the 20th century anymore. It's really more considered now a modern house. And then actually going back, I'm going to talk a little bit about that graph there. So you'll see that on Instagram, mid-century modern has 3.5 million plus tags over 500,000 of which were in the past 6 months alone. So there's been quite a spike in the number of tags that we're seeing on mid-century modern. And then just a couple signature hardware products that fit within this trend. There's a couple of newly released vanities, the Talon, the Bivens, and the Millie. Definitely have a really mid-century influence to them, and they're offered in a variety of different colors. Some cast iron tubs that you see there that are painted in really kind of natural hues that I talked about, how those natural like light blues and green botanical colors are really kind of trending right now. So let's talk a little bit about Art Deco and Nuevo glam. So although these two diverse styles are kind of from two separate time periods, Art Deco design elements are often paired with Art Nuevo. Consumers are really calling this look Art Deco glam or old Hollywood glam, even if those terms aren't necessarily accurate for kind of what they're trying to say that they like. Here you're also going to find a lot of gold and textured glass. The style starting to play with natural materials by replacing glitz with updated Art Deco, rattan, and wicker. And you'll always really find a botanical influence here. As you can kind of see in all of those pictures, there is a botanical either wallpaper or fabric that's kind of brought into each of those different spaces. And then again, some products within signature hardware that really kind of have that Art Deco, Nuevo glam look and feel to them. Just a couple I wanted to point out: that console sink with the acrylic legs with the accents of gold has been really popular. It comes in actually a couple other finishes as well, but it really has that glam feel to it. And it's paired there really well with kind of an Art Deco wallpaper that looks really cool. And then the Pinecrest Collection faucet is a faucet collection that we recently released that really has that kind of Art Deco influence to it. It can be ordered with either a lever handle or a cross handle. And then you'll see here some hardware that is available that kind of has that look and feel to it. Signature hardware even has some shower curtains as well. But just a bunch of different products that kind of meet that trend. The next one we're going to talk about is muty hued neutrals. So navy has really been considered a neutral in the design space for a few years now, but it's continuing to be strong in the consumer market. It really isn't going away. It's found both in the kitchen and also in the bathroom. Teal and other vibrant tones are increasingly becoming more popular, but these really do best in textiles and easily interchangeable goods rather than furniture. Moody green and navy blue continue to perform well in the vanity space in particular. As you can kind of see in those Instagram tags, navy kitchen, blue bathroom, green kitchen, and green bathroom. There's been quite a few posts and an increase in posts from December to May. So definitely still seeing that as a trend that's really taking off. The next slide actually has a couple different signature hardware vanities that we've recently launched to kind of fit that look. The top left is really popular. We have it in a lot of our showrooms in the navy blue, the Robertson console vanity. And another one that's really popular on the bottom there is that emerald green Radke vanity. Emerald green has really taken off, and we're excited to kind of have a nice vanity to offer that fits that trend. So the next trend that we'll talk a little bit about that is coming up is really natural wood tones. So here you're going to find an appreciation for the beauty and simplicity of wood's natural look and feel. A lot of visible wood grains, light to medium stains with warm undertones are commonly seen here. Lighter versions are kind of more of the majority of what we're really finding trending. Blonde variations have a look of being really raw and unfinished. Bleached wood is rising in popularity in the consumer space, and the natural wood tone includes updated versions of rattan and wicker furniture. So we are seeing a lot of rattan and wicker being increasingly popular. And then that graph is showing how many searches over the last 5 years there were for rattan furniture. And as you can see, it was kind of tapering to be pretty consistent between 2014 to 2019. But at the very end of that chart there, you see that huge spike. As of recently, we've seen an enormous increase in people searching for rattan. And then this slide is really just kind of showing you a variety of natural wood tone vanities that we have in the offering. A popular one on the top middle, the Bivens vanity. This one is really nice looking with those wooden dowel tapered legs. It doesn't actually have hardware. Those are just kind of carved out notches for finger pulls on the doors and drawers. It's definitely a very good selling piece. Let's talk next about the trend, Millennial Tones. So these are going to be some colors that we see coming up. More earth tones are becoming more popular. Millennial Yellow, which is going to be really a mustard color, terracotta, burnt mauve. These colors are really proven to be popular in the consumer space through textiles and accent pieces. So like you can see here, lighting as an accent in some of these really popular upcoming finishes will be trending and coming up soon. The next color would be more of the soft pinks. So this we call like a millennial pink or a dusty rose or blush finish. Benjamin Moore's 2020 color of the year was actually First Light, which is a soft pink color. And this color began to rise in popularity after rose gold made an appearance. So like you can see there, I'm actually showing in the top right the Millie Vanity again, and a very light blush pink. Those doors have a very soft pink hue. And then the box of the vanity itself is kind of a natural wood. So it's really bringing in that natural wood trend with the soft pink millennial tone that's becoming increasingly popular and giving it has that very mid-century modern feel to it. The next one is going to be bright copper. So this is really the new rose gold. The consumer is really using the term rose gold interchangeably with bright copper, but they're not really looking for as much of a pink undertone like rose gold has. They're looking more for a warmer, less pink undertone than rose gold would typically have when they're looking for this bright copper. You'll find it as either a polished or a satin, and it's going to be more prominent in lighting. You'll find a lot of light fixtures that are going to incorporate these bright copper elements and cabinet hardware and things like that. And then this one's pretty obvious, black. Matte black is really now considered a standard faucet and hardware finish by our consumer. It's really seen both in modern and traditional spaces. It's steadily gained popularity as a prominent color in both the kitchen and in the bathroom. And we keep expecting to see black level off, but we continue to see searches rise for matte black. I know during this past couple months, we saw such an increase that a lot of plumbing manufacturers' matte blacks were starting to become back ordered. It's definitely increased in popularity at an incredibly fast rate. So super popular. The next one's going to be golds. And again, this is really also something we've seen for a little bit. This isn't necessarily new, but what is happening is that polished brass really isn't any longer an adequate substitute for the consumer. They really consider this brushed gold a standard faucet finish now. So you'll see it start being developed more and more within most all plumbing brands. Signature Hardware has recently just decided on our brushed gold finish, and you're going to see more and more brushed gold coming out in Signature Hardware in the next year. One that's available now is this really traditional one that I'm showing in the bottom right corner. But there are going to be a lot more modern options as well coming soon. It's actually really also being combined often with the other finish we just talked about, black. So you're going to see brushed golds and blacks kind of paired together often. I'm showing it here paired together at that apron front sink. There's a matte black faucet with a brushed gold apron front. You see it also a lot in lighting. Lighting has a lot of fixtures that are a mix of metals, matte black and gold.
Hannah, can I ask a question, or would you prefer them at
Yeah.
the end?
No, ask away.
So for the bright copper finish and this gold, is it easy to maintain, especially the copper? Or do they have like a finish on there that would keep them from, kind of going through that natural copper oxidation process?
Yeah, so we don't have too many offered in the bright copper yet. There are a couple kitchen faucets that are now in copper within Signature Hardware, but they are not a living finish. It is something that is plated, so it's not going to patina and change color over time. Great question.
I love that apron front gold, brushed gold sink.
Yes, it's beautiful. It's also available in like a gunmetal black, which looks really nice if you're looking for like a gunmetal colored sink. It's been very popular. And the last trend I kind of wanted to cover is imperfect metals. So these are kind of a perfectly imperfect finish. It's the idea of imperfection in metal finishes that gives a really personalized space, a look that isn't really straight out of a box. It provides an easier approach to mixing finishes in a space, because we all know that some consumers really have a hard time visualizing how mixing metals and mixing finishes will really look. Here you're going to find a lot of aged living finishes like brass, pewter, and copper, mottled or hammered copper. We don't really have anything yet in some of these imperfect metal finishes within Signature Hardware, but it is a trend that we see, coming up next. The consumer really doesn't know how to describe this finish. So what we're seeing is that people are searching and using the term antique brass when they're kind of looking for this trend, but what they're really desiring is a look that kind of reflects more of a living brass. This is incredibly popular right now in the lighting world, and it will be a natural progression that we're going to see it increase in popularity in kitchens and bathrooms. So what the consumer really wants is the look of an unlacquered metal, but they really don't want the maintenance of a living finish. So like you just asked, they don't want to have to worry about something that is going to live and change over time. So I think we'll see a lot of finishes come out that kind of have an imperfect look that aren't a living finish, to kind of make it easier to maintain. So that was kind of all I wanted to talk about in terms of the trends. But I did kind of want to go a little bit into Signature Hardware just to make sure you guys are all familiar with the brand, and just show you some new products that have kind of recently been released, and just make sure you didn't have any questions about the brand. If you weren't familiar with it, I hope most of you have purchased something Signature Hardware in the past, but in 2016 is really when Ferguson acquired Signature Hardware, and it came on board with us as a partner. It still acts as an independent brand, but it is under the Ferguson umbrella. What's very important to us is the quality and the service behind the product. So what's great is that we kind of control the manufacturing and the quality of all of our products, and make sure that it's up to the standards of what we feel comfortable providing. So you're going to find all brass faucets, ceramic disc cartridges, well-developed valving technologies, just things that we really stand behind and are proud to have as something that we are creating as our own. And the customer service, obviously we own it, so it makes it easier to service the customer and take care of concerns that might come up down the road, because we don't have to work through any other manufacturers. Something important too is quick shipping. We stock all of it either in our distribution centers that are local, or at our headquarters for Signature Hardware in Kentucky. So if it's in stock in Kentucky, it just takes a couple of days to get to us here locally, typically like 2 to 3 business days if it's coming UPS. And they take anything that's got over a 90-day lead time off of the website, so that a consumer isn't going to find the product and fall in love with it and then not be able to get it in a reasonable amount of time. We have great installation support on staff at Signature as well. We actually have master plumbers that are on staff. So if you have some issues in the field where an installer is having a problem, they can talk to a master plumber over the phone, FaceTime, to figure out what the issues are and kind of help the installer actually take care of that, rather than having to call and talk to just someone in customer service that might not really understand the technicalities involved with the install. We lifetime warranty all of the products as well, with the exception of products with electrical components. So really the only products that fall into those categories would be air baths and whirlpools are going to have a 5-year warranty. So any tub that has some type of technology involved would be 5 years. And then the anything with LED components, like a lit mirror or a light fixture, if it has an LED component, it's going to be 1 year. But all other products are lifetime warranted. So faucets, showering, hardware, all of anything else that doesn't have electrical has a lifetime warranty with it, which is really great. And then we have simple structured pricing. So your customer isn't going to go online and find 18 different prices for the product. It's going to be a consistent, very competitive price point that we really stand behind the pricing for those. So let's talk a little bit about a couple of new products and categories that I just want to make sure that you're familiar with that we have. The Radkey Vanity was recently released. I showed actually this emerald green vanity on a couple of slides prior to this, but it's offered in a couple other finishes as well. And the hardware on this can actually be customized to either polished nickel, matte black, satin brass, or a polished rose gold. So this one's been extremely popular. Another vanity that's been really popular is the Bivens, which has that really mid-century modern feel to it. We stock these in Kentucky as well. They don't actually have any cabinet hardware on it. It has a very sleek cutout in the wood for finger pulls on the doors and drawers. A freestanding tub that we just released is this Halliford. It looks a lot like another manufacturer's freestanding tub that we sell quite a bit of, but it's at a great price point, and we stock these in the distribution centers. So definitely check out this one. It's very traditional and beautiful in design. And then this orchid tub. So this has been around for probably about 6 months or so, but I just wanted to make sure to just touch on it for a second because it's kind of unique. The tub itself is really kind of designed to have a maximum bathing capacity. So for somebody that likes to take a bath, but they only have one tub in their home and it has to be an alcove, and they want as much space as possible in that tub, what we've done is kind of really made it so there isn't much of a ledge around that tub there. You really couldn't fit a shampoo or conditioner bottle like on the actual rim of the tub because we've really tried to use all of the space to create as much bathing room as possible. So definitely a good option for somebody that has one tub but likes to take a bath and they have to have an alcove. This is a really unique find. The next is our new valve that we recently released. It's a two-way pressure balance valve. So what's great about this is it's very cost effective. You don't have to have multiple trims in the shower where you have a pressure balance and a transfer trim and valve. So you just have to purchase one valve and one trim. The handle on there, the lever, would control the temperature. So you could set the temperature to whatever you'd like and leave it there. And then you would actually turn the shower on and off by clicking the buttons. So one button could control a shower head and the second could control a hand shower or whatever functions that you'd want to be in there. It could be a tub spout or body sprays or a rain head, but you could run both at the same time. So if you wanted to turn both on, all you would have to do is push both buttons in and it would turn both of them on at the same time. So definitely really keeps the shower looking clean and not having too many controls all over the walls. And then a faucet that we just released that's really cool is this fanning filtered kitchen faucet. So this gives you the ability to have on-tap water filtration right at your sink without the need for a reverse osmosis system. So this really just ensures that your water is safe to drink. It uses a dual filter technology to reduce lead, chemical impurities, and the chlorine taste and odor and other contaminants. The recyclable filters install really quickly and easily beneath the sink. They last for up to 6 months before needing to be replaced. And you don't really have to worry about tracking that 6 months yourself, because the faucet's base has a display light that lets you know when you need to swap out that filter. So on that black ring on the base of the faucet, they'll have a light that will kind of illuminate when it's time to replace the filter. And then a category that we really saw an increase in, obviously, during these COVID times has been bidet seats. So we have a couple different bidet seats. I'm showing you two here, but one that I wanted to make sure you're aware of is the non-electric one that we have, the U-Bank. This one, you don't even need to make any changes to have electrical behind the toilet there. It just ties into the water line. So obviously this one's not going to be as expensive because it doesn't have any heated water. It's going to be the water is going to just be on the colder side, no heat in that. But the next one, the Aldridge that I'm showing, is a kind of a step up. Obviously this one is going to have warm water. It's going to have a seat warmer, warm drying, a smart night light, auto cleaning modes, but this one would have to have electrical behind the toilet installed. But it has a very sleek design to it. So definitely just keep Signature Hardware in mind for bidet seats. We're seeing a huge increase in sales for bidet seats, and it's becoming a lot more popular and common in the US now. It's not just, European and Asian thing anymore. Mirrors as well. We've recently released a lot of really on-trend, good-looking mirrors. So I'm showing a couple there, but some other ones I wanted to point out are the tunable LED mirrors at the bottom. Those, you actually can tune them from like a warmer LED light to a cooler blue LED light, which just is really cool that you can change that in the bathroom depending on the tones that you're looking for, at really good price points too. And then the barn door hardware. This is something that we sell a lot of with Signature Hardware. We don't sell the doors themselves, but if you're looking for barn door hardware, there's some great price points on the barn door hardware. And then this is something that people don't typically think of that Ferguson would have or offer, but we do have a variety of different decorative floor registers. So something that we've really kind of seen an increase in sales with as of recently, and just something that we don't always think about when we're redoing a room, but we have a bunch of fun different decorative registers that come in a variety of finishes. And then last but not least, I wanted to talk to you guys about a promotion that we're currently running. So I've put together a variety of different packages at different price points that we're calling our Bath in a Budget promotion. So it's not necessarily meant to be the cheapest packages. We have a variety of different packages starting anywhere from, $1,500 to $5,000. So just at various price points. But what we're doing is we're discounting the products within these packages 10% through the end of August. So this is not just Signature Hardware product. This is going to be from a variety of our brands like James Martin Vanities, Millennium Lighting, Park Harbor Lighting. It will have some Signature Hardware as well. But it's just a variety of different packages to kind of meet different price points that your customer might be interested in. And if you are interested in these packages, I'm happy to email this out to everybody after the call. I'm going to put my contact information on here so you can reach out to me. We're going to have it emailed as a mass email again this week from Ferguson. So you might see this promotion come through if you're signed up to get Ferguson emails. But any of these products we're doing for 10% off through the end of August, and you can order it in any of the different finishes it's available, and you don't have to order it as what it's shown in the package. If you wanted that package in a polished nickel instead of a chrome, you absolutely could order it that way. And you don't have to get the entire package as long as you're placing a minimum order of $500. Any of the material from these packages apply. So I'll share this with Debbie after the call as well. And anyone on the call that's interested in it can either email me, or I'm not sure if she could forward it out to people, but I'd be happy to share all these different packages with everyone. And then that's really it. That's all I had for today, unless Pooja, I don't know if you wanted to say anything else. Did anyone have any questions for me?
Hannah, Lauren had a question.
Sorry,
about
I was
ears.
presenting. Sorry, guys, I didn't want to go to the chat and see the chat. So I know Hannah's on her phone, so I didn't really see any questions that came up.
Yeah,
on
sorry,
chat.
I didn't see any chat questions either. So definitely, I'm happy to answer those now if I missed them.
Debbie, did you see Lauren's question? Or Lauren, you're here. Do you have a
Yes.
question?
I am here and I already found the mirror.
I
looked it
Oh,
up.
good.
Yeah, they were pretty.
Yeah.
So I have a question about the trendiness of the barn door. Do we foresee that being around for a while?
So we're still seeing a huge sale in our barn door hardware. It hasn't really gone down at all. It probably actually gone up now that more people are at home and trying to do more DIY type of projects. Barn doors have really kind of been something that we've really seen still as a trend. It hasn't gone anywhere yet, but I don't know if that's to say that, you know, it might in the next year kind of taper off a bit.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Hi, Hannah. I have a question. Melissa from Case.
Yes. Hi, Melissa.
Hi. Hi. So we had a conversation not too long ago, a couple of designers and I, and we were trying to understand what were some of the amenities that are now surging right now with Ferguson. One of them came up with, of course, was the bidet. You touched on that. A lot of clients are requesting bidets. A lot of clients are saying, I'm home right now, a tub is definitely something that I need. Are there any other amenities that you're seeing besides bidets and tubs that you see clients are requesting that maybe we're not seeing?
I don't think there's necessarily anything right now that we're seeing. Bidets have definitely been the number one, I'd say. We actually did, this isn't really related to Signature hardware, but we saw a huge increase in requests for freezers. So because a lot of people were trying to now, you know, store food for longer periods of time. A lot of freezers were actually on back order, and we were having a lot of issues with just procuring freezers in general. So that definitely is a category that we've seen a huge spike in addition, obviously, to the freezer in their regular refrigerator. They're looking for additional storage for freezers.
Okay.
I recall earlier this week, people mentioned dishwashers. Their whole, like, I don't know about you, but I have a family of 5. We're running our dishwasher twice a day. I'm like, everybody's eating it for the first time in forever.
And we're seeing kind of issues with dishwasher back orders as well. It's hard to, with some of our manufacturers, there is quite a lead time on some dishwashers.
Okay. And just to piggyback on the appliances, just one quick thing, and I'm not sure, I just haven't dived too much into this world. Has Kohler or any other company really enhanced their sanitizing, meaning their, maybe there's a dispenser for, I don't know, antibacterial things? Like, is there something else that we're seeing with faucets that they're now launching in a time like this?
So with Signature hardware, we don't currently have anything in the brand, but it is something that we're looking into for the future. There are brands out there, like I know Delta's is a touch faucet, and Moen has kind of that like one that you can wave your hand in front of, which is probably even better than having to touch the faucet itself. So I think
we have a lot of manufacturers who've come up with touchless faucets now. That we have.
Okay. Okay.
But not in the terms of, sorry, Hannah, not in terms of like the filter or sanitizer additional. One of the other things we're also seeing is just, and these are more for remodelers and contractors where they're looking for freestanding sinks to be able to wash, you know, everyone coming to the job sites and having like a freestanding sink outside and just like an area for everyone before they get in the house. So we are definitely seeing a little bit of a trend for that as well.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you.
I would think we would see a lot more trends too of businesses having their hand washing stations or sinks and things toward the front of the store instead of behind closed doors or behind the bathroom, you know? Where you-
Yes.
Yep.
Any other questions?
I have a question. I guess it's a question is I was typing it, but I've been making a lot of calls to current members. We're just trying to stay in touch with all of our members. And several of them had said it would be beneficial for them. And I was just kind of going to ask, I guess, Ferguson and, Ed's on the call, but is there a link on our website that can be created that as, if there's a supplier that has, like you were talking about the dishwashers and the freezers being back ordered and other items that we already know are going to be hard to get, so they're not introducing them to the client. Like, I like the idea of the whole 90 days, take it off the site if you can't get it, but I don't know, that's just like with the signature. Is there something that we can get our members so that they keep the consumer away from those products and then we have issues going forward?
So Trish, I can take that from the Ferguson side. So as we are doing consultations, and it's kind of right now we are seeing, as Hannah mentioned, a little bit more on the appliance side, but we are trying to communicate over the last 3 to 4 months on any factories closing, any back orders or anything like that is happening with different vendors. And we're communicating that through, to our customers. But if there is something, I can definitely get with Angela and Debbie and see if there's something that we can put on the NARI website.
Yeah, it's something that we can, something that can be condensed, so we don't have an email coming from each supplier, but somewhere they
Absolutely.
can go to. Okay.
I think the hard thing right now also, Trish, that we're seeing is a lot of it is changing all the time. So some things that we're seeing and then they're getting better, in 2 weeks, because manufacturers are really working towards that, but they are trying to be proactive as well. And then as we are doing consultations in our showrooms, our consultants are sharing that information depending on what the customer is looking for. But I think the difficult thing that I'm seeing right now is it is changing quite a bit.
Just in the past week or two, I feel like it has gotten a lot better. We've seen it in terms of appliances. A lot of the brands have caught up a little bit from where we were even just 2 weeks ago.
That's great. And if there's information that you want to share, any of our associate members, if there's information you want to share about, Ed, you really helped us out by letting us know about the shortage of pressure treated lumber. If there is information, that you can share with us to give members a heads up that, these are some of the things we're seeing, longer lead times to get these items. Most of them are probably aware, but you never know. So giving them the heads up so they can manage expectations, client expectations, is always helpful.
Yeah, thankfully, pressure treated has been really the only thing that has consistently been a challenge now for, I guess, the last month and a half or so, and it's not coming back anytime soon. Just in case you guys were wondering, maybe there might be some more supply come after September, after Labor Day, but from what our partner, we get our wood from Culpeper Wood Preserves, what they've told me personally is they're hoping for a very dry winter to get their inventory levels back up to where they need to be. So, it should be hopefully loosening up in the next 8-12 weeks and getting better as far as that goes. Yes, Trish, we do sell barn doors. So if you do need barn doors or any other doors or windows, please feel free. Or any kind of lumber or any kind of, lots of different things. But feel free to reach out to me. But Pooja's right. It would be kind of difficult to keep something like that on the NARI website up to date as, you know, because it is ever changing.
So perhaps the best way is just kind of sharing it with us to share through listserv or things like that, you know, especially for things that, you know, our members are using all the time, you know.
Yeah, more popular items.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that just helps too for you to stay present in mind and them to know you're looking out for them, you know. Any other questions for Hannah or Pooja?
Regarding that barn door question, I know we do a lot of that for shower doors, and Pooja also sells glass crafters, and we do the barn doors, and we have different varieties for those for shower doors, and they're very popular. So we are seeing more and more of that. Still custom glass and some of the other stuff, but those barn doors are hot. We're doing them on closets and everything in the frosted glass besides wood too, and it's become very, very popular.
Good to know.
Yeah, thank you, Debbie.
Sure.
So Pooja, when y'all and Hannah, when you go to your tour, and I'm excited to see that local showrooms will have that virtual tour. When you click on that, there seem to be a few things. I mean, it pops up, but I assume you click through if you wanted more product specs.
Absolutely. So we can do a full consultation, and basically we could go to the product. It'll also have a link right on the product. And then we can go to the Ferguson page, and it'll have the specs, the details on that particular faucet or whatever the customer is looking at with us.
And if you wanted, like, say Schroeder wanted a customer to go in there and take a look, I imagine you'd go with them. But could they also, if they didn't have a rep with them, could they track it on your website, like of the products, and like kind of favorite their items that they want to keep track of?
Like a cart.
Yeah.
Yes. And we also have on our website, they can also build a cart as well.
Okay. Thank you. Cool.
And it's just depending on the customer in terms of whether they want to do a phone appointment or they're coming in for the first time, but then, they want to do their second and third or finalizing it. They just want to do that through the virtual. So we're kind of seeing, it just depends on the customer. We're seeing everything kind of right now.
Right.
Angela, your husband's in the plumbing industry, right?
Yes. Plumbing,
Yes.
HVAC.
Well, then you should really start a cart. I'm sure they'll personally take care of you.
I know. I love
I
that.
can do a
one
virtual
hub.
appointment with you. It doesn't.
Yeah, and then you could video it and say, this is as easy as it is. Just
I know. And then that apron front sink, I saw lots of things. And right before she mentioned the gold with the black, I was like, oh, that looks I like the gold black fixtures. Anyway.
We're seeing a lot of that.
Yeah.
Well, just don't let your husband just have too much time on his hand, because that cart we could fill up very quickly.
If you saw my house, you'd be like, you need a whole new house to go with all of the fixtures. So outdated here. Anyway.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
And if you guys have any questions, a lot of you guys already know me, but the information for me and Hannah are at the end of the presentation that we'll send out. Please feel free to reach out to us, and we really appreciate all your time this afternoon.
Yes, thank you so much for taking the time to chat about trends and what we're seeing.
It was nice to see some friends. Thank you, Trish.
we're ready to get back
Trish,
together.
is that me with hair?
Yeah.